All right, today we are diving into something truly profound. It's one of the most powerful and honestly challenging stories ever written. It's a short parable, kind of a story within a story, tucked inside Fyodor Dostoevsky's absolute masterpiece, The Brothers Karamazov. So it all kicks off with this wild, staggering question. Just imagine for a second, what if Jesus Christ actually returned to Earth? But what if he came back during the darkest days of the Spanish Inquisition, and instead of being celebrated, the church itself had him arrested? This is the setup for a philosophical battle that will absolutely blow your mind. So let's set the scene. We're in Seville, Spain, back in the 16th century. And this isn't just any time, it's the absolute height of the Inquisition. This is an era of total religious authority, where huge fires are lit pretty much every day to burn heretics in these grand public spectacles, all, of course, for the glory of God. It's into this world, this mix of intense fear and intense faith, that he appears. And, he doesn't come with trumpets or a choir of angels. He just appears, quietly walking among the people. But here's the thing, everyone knows, instantly, there's this incredible compassion in his smile, a warmth that just radiates from him. People can't help it, they're just pulled toward him. They surround him, they're weeping, they're kissing the ground he walks on. And then, just in case there was any doubt, a moment happens that changes everything. A funeral procession for a little girl cuts through the crowd. Her mother, completely heartbroken, cries out to him, begging for a miracle. He just looks at her with this immense compassion, says two simple words, and the little girl sits up in her coffin, alive, smiling. The crowd just erupts. It is absolutely 100% him. But this incredible, divine moment is seen by the one person you wouldn't want to see it, the Grand Inquisitor. He's the most powerful man in the city, a cardinal, ancient, almost 90 years old. He sees the miracle. He sees the crowd worshiping this stranger, and his face just darkens. With a single gesture and just two words, he orders his guards. And his power is so absolute, so total, that the crowd, the same crowd that was just overcome with joy, immediately steps aside. They just part like the Red Sea. And they watch in dead silence as their savior is arrested and dragged off to a dungeon. Later that night, the Inquisitor goes down to that dark, cold prison cell to visit his prisoner. He goes alone, and for the first time, he speaks. And what follows is one of the most startling and brilliant monologues in all of literature. Now notice, he doesn't ask, "Who are you?" Oh no, he knows exactly who he's talking to. Instead, he starts with an accusation. He basically says, "Why are you back? You've come here to interfere with our work, to hinder us." Just think about that. He sees the return of Jesus as a problem, an obstacle. And this right here is the heart of the whole story, the big conflict. On one hand, you have what Christ offered, freedom. The freedom to choose, to have faith, but also the freedom to suffer, right? To grapple with these huge problems. On the other hand, you have what the Inquisitor offers, happiness. A simple happiness built on total security, total obedience, and no fruit. The Inquisitor's whole point is just shocking. He argues that humanity is weak, pathetic, and just not capable of handling the burden of true freedom. He claims that the church, out of what he calls a deep love for mankind, has corrected Christ's work by taking that freedom away, so people can finally, at last, be happy. So, to prove his point, the Inquisitor does something brilliant. He brings up the three temptations that Christ faced in the wilderness. But he flips the whole story on its head. He says those temptations weren't evil things to be rejected. No. He says they were the only three powers on earth that could actually conquer humanity's conscience for their own good. The Inquisitor basically says Christ got it all wrong. First, bread. He says you should have turned the stones to bread, feed people, and then you can ask them to be good. They'll follow anyone who feeds them. Second, miracle. He claims people don't want free faith. That's too hard. They want proof. They want mystery. They want magic tricks. And third, authority. He argues Christ should have taken worldly power, united everyone under a single rule to create a peaceful ant-heap. And then he says with pride that the church accepted all three of those gifts to rule the world. Just when you think this argument can't get any more intense, it does. The Inquisitor starts to reveal that the entire foundation of the church, this whole system of control, is built on a terrible hidden secret, a pact. So let's think about it. If he corrected Christ's work by accepting the temptations, Well, who is offering those temptations in the first place? Who is the church really working with? And there it is, the bombshell. The Inquisitor admits it flat out. He says, "We are not working with you. We are working with him." He means the tempter from the wilderness. He confesses that for the last 800 years, the leaders of the church haven't been on God's side. They've been on the devil's. That, he says, is their great mystery. But why? What could possibly justify that? Well, in his mind, it's a twisted, tragic kind of love. He and the other church leaders believe they are making the ultimate sacrifice. They are damning their own souls to hell on purpose so that billions of weak humans can live quiet, happy, simple lives. They see themselves as shepherds who will take on all the sins of their flock, bear the curse of knowledge alone, so everyone else can die in blissful ignorance. So after this unbelievable monologue, the Inquisitor gets back to the matter at hand. He gives his verdict. Tomorrow, he says, he will burn his prisoner at the stake as the worst of all heretics. Now, you have to remember, through this entire speech, this massive justification for serving evil, the prisoner has not said a single word, not one. He's just been listening, looking at this tormented old man with nothing but gentle compassion. And the silence is just eating the Inquisitor alive. He wants an argument. He wants him to say something. And he does get an answer, but it's not in words. The prisoner gets up, walks over to the old man in silence, and softly kisses him on his pale, aged lips. That's his only reply. The Inquisitor literally shudders. The kiss glows in his heart. You can tell it hit him hard. But he doesn't change his ideology. He holds his ground. He opens the prison door and tells the prisoner to leave. "Go," he says, "and come no more. Never, never." And he just lets him walk out into the dark streets. That kiss is everything. It's a response of pure love to an argument of pure logic. It doesn't actually refute any of the Inquisitor's points about humanity being weak or needing control. Instead, it offers a completely different way of seeing the world, a path based on grace and forgiveness that exists completely outside the Inquisitor's cold, calculated system. And that leaves us, the reader, with the exact same impossible question. The Inquisitor makes a powerful case that true compassion means giving people security and happiness, even if you have to take their freedom. Christ's way offers that freedom, but it comes with the price of suffering and struggle. So, what is true love for humanity? And when it comes right down to it, which would you choose? Security or freedom?